Dan Hurley, the head coach of the UConn Huskies, has 110% stole the show. His reaction to the big-time shot has gone quadruple platinum. I'm telling you, it's like it's like cracking the 80s right now. Everybody's trying to get a piece and get a reaction or a word on what Dan Hurley did. So if you're not hip to what happened, after Braylon Mullins hit the big-time shot, Dan Hurley, in an exciting fashion, I would put, an exciting manner, gets in the face of the referee and headbutts him. I think it's out of excitement, but it's gotten people talking, man. People questioning, is that fair? Should he have gotten a tech? Is that appropriate for a head coach to do, no matter what the circumstance is? And people are now talking about Dan Hurley, and we're having the conversation that surfaces every couple of years with him. Is what he's doing, is it appropriate for college basketball? Is he a coach that you would send your son to play for? Is his act exactly what you want? You'd play for him, or do you think it's a little bit over the top? For those that don't understand Dan Hurley and want to criticize him and show up outside of his house with pitchforks and whatnot, you don't understand what Dan Hurley is. Dan Hurley is college basketball. For anybody that doesn't like what he's doing, newsflash, he is one of the biggest brands in the entire sport. He's one of the few coaches that could leave his program and go anywhere else and have the same amount of success, the same amount of buzz. He'd still be in the headlines as much as he is, because that's how important he is to the fabric of the sport, in my opinion, man. He is what's right with college basketball, in my opinion. He cares. In today's NIL era where it seems to be a lot about money, he cares. And it ain't about money for him in terms of the coaching job. The LA Lakers job was wide open a couple of years ago, and he said, nah, I'm going to stay here in stores. He loves his job. I know people might think he's a total sicko and a psychopath, but he loves his job. And more importantly, I think he loves the kids within that program. He has a passion for what he does. But I get it. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not going to be for everyone. And I want you all to hit us up on the talking text line with this at 310-840-4910. We all can agree, right? I'm a fan of Dan Hurley, but I can agree with this. Dan Hurley is a damn madman. Some love it, like me. Some hate it, like some of you out there. Question is this on the talking text line at 310-840-4910. A lot of you know about his antics. You saw what happened yesterday. Crazy. We're talking more about the headbutt of the ref than we are the damn 36-foot heave that allowed them to go to the Final Four. We're talking more about that. Question is this on the talking text line, 310-840-4910. Would you like to play for a coach like Dan Hurley, or do you think his act and his bit is too much and too over the top? 310-840-4910. I want to get to the bottom of what happened after the shot was made. After the shot was made, Dan Hurley got in the face of the official, and a lot of people on social media after the fact, especially earlier today and this morning, had pretty passionate thoughts on what he did, and some people said it was out of pocket. A lot of folks thought he was once again doing what he does, so to speak, going way over the top. We got some insight on what happened in the exchange between him and the ref. Seth Greenberg of ESPN shared some insight. He actually spoke to the official that Dan Hurley headbutted. Boy, is that a crazy-ass sentence. Here's what Seth Greenberg had to say.
This situation right here. First of all, Roger ears.
Hold on.
I'm shocked you don't listen to everything.
This is where Seth Greenberg need to shut the hell up. What do you mean social media is making a big deal out of it? What other head coach do you see headbutting a damn official? When are you ever allowed to touch an official, Seth Greenberg? I get it. You trying to protect your boy. You trying to control the narrative. But let's not act like what happened was commonplace in terms of the relationship between a coach and an official in the game. You bet your ass I was looking at Dan Hurley like he was crazy after what he did. And everyone should have been. But now we have an explanation. So beforehand, before we heard from Seth Greenberg, I think it's appropriate if you were out there going, what the hell's wrong with that guy? Look at him. At it again. Doing the same old stuff, right? But now Seth Greenberg's provided a little bit of an explanation. We have some insight into the situation. I echo those sentiments, so to speak. Like, I agree with what Seth is saying in terms of, after talking to the official, right? Like, it's not a big deal. In the grand scheme of things, now that we have context to the situation, you're right. It's not a big deal. But beforehand, yeah, I was kind of looking at Coach Hurley a little bit sideways. But like I said, looking at him sideways is a lot different than taking it to the lengths that others take. That, he's way over the top and he's bad for the game of college basketball, and you'd never let your kid play for a coach like him. I think Dan Hurley, we need more Dan Hurleys in society. We need more Dan Hurleys in life. Anybody out there, see, this is the beautiful thing about Westwood One Sports Night. You're going to get cooking advice because it's a Meal Monday. You're going to get great basketball analysis because that's what the basis of the show is about. And then I'm going to give you some parenting advice as well. And I'm not even a parent. I haven't even thought about a child. Children scare me. But let me tell you this. In today's day and age, where specifically in my neck of the woods where I stay at, the DMV, DC area, these kids out here need guidance. These kids out here need someone that they know is going to go to war for them no matter what. I'm telling you, and this is a big picture conversation that I think needs to be had about coach interactions with Little League players throughout the course of sports. Not just Little League players, but high school kids, college kids, even in the pros. Man, more times than not, the relationship that a young man has with his coach, depending on who the coach is, could be equally as strong or stronger than a relationship that a kid has with his parent. You know what I'm saying? So those that don't like coaches that get up in your face, and I know people, look at video of like a coach grabbing a dude by the face mask and everyone's got their panties in a wad over it. That's because you ain't ever been disciplined before. Maybe you ain't ever had nobody show you that type of tough love. I'd have had my face mask grabbed a handful of times, and look at how I turned out. Well, there was some extra work to get here, but you pick up what I'm putting down, man. Everybody needs a quality coach in their life, and I will say this, quality coaches, quality human beings for that matter, come in all different shapes and sizes. And what Dan Hurley brings to the table, yes, I will admit, it's unorthodox. It's unique. Is it over the top? Maybe. But would I want him to be any other way? No. Be you, Dan Hurley. I love that he doesn't give a rat's ass about what the narratives are surrounding him. And one thing that was special about Friday night, he's, across the court from one of his idols, talking about legendary Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo. And someone in the building on Friday night told me that, Dan is working on himself. Dan's actually talked to Tom. Tom Izzo made a call to Dan Hurley, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and said, Dan, what's up, bro? You got to chill the hell out. You're doing too much. You're taking this thing way over the top more times than not. You need to settle down because some of the stuff that people are saying about you, you're proving them right. You're making it look like it's true. And since then, according to who I was talking to, Dan Hurley has dialed it back a little bit. But, man, I don't want him to change too much. Like I said a moment ago, he is college basketball, dog. He's what's special about college basketball. He is. To have – because I think y'all just look at him as just a coach. I did some digging, and TikTok is like one of the most beautiful search engines in the world. Just looking up Dan Hurley video and watching interviews that he's done and getting behind-the-scenes practice footage. This ain't no act for the cameras. That's another part that I think a lot of people get pissed off and irritated by. People think he's doing it for the camera. People think he's doing it because he's on national television. You go to a 6 a.m. practice in Storrs, Connecticut, his ass is jacked up the same way. That's what I love about him. He's authentic. He's him. And guess what? I'm sure somebody that raised y'all out there told you this. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. Everybody's not going to like you. As a matter of fact, as I'm sitting here growing older, about 28 years of life, I can give a rat's ass who likes me. I'm going to be me no matter what. I think that's what Dan Hurley is.